But since this was Cancel Happiness's recommendation, dude, tell us a little bit about like your first time watching Hellraiser. Like, how'd you get into Hellraiser? Because I know you're a big fan.
Uh, well, we had. I'm old, right? So I was born in the 1990s, and we had a huge collection of VHS tapes, and they would have
Right.
multiple movies on each tape, and we'd write on tape in them what it was. And I was
Yeah.
probably 7 or 8 years old, and I found one that just said Hellraiser. The name just stuck out to me, so I put it in. And to be honest, I wasn't hooked right away. I didn't really vibe with the first one that well. It wasn't
Yeah.
until I was probably like 10 or 11 when I saw the second one that I really got into that. Because I like the lore and the mythos of everything in the second film a lot
Yeah.
better. You know what I mean? And that really hooked
Right.
me from there.
Right. Definitely. When was the first time you seen Hellraiser, Michael Myers?
I will say the first time it was like later on in like life. I was already like probably early teens, so I wasn't a kid. Uh,
Right.
but I really dug the first one when I first saw it. But the whole concept of the whole franchise, like it took me a while to get it. Uh,
Right.
like I didn't really get the whole because I was expecting Hellraiser to be like your typical Friday the 13th, Halloween's,
Right.
and
Yeah.
etc. And you really don't get that from Hellraiser, and so it was kind of like a kind of threw me off a little bit. But I mean, once time went on, man, the first two especially was became like great. It's great double feature. Some films to watch back
Yeah.
to back because they just feel they're so consistent with each other that you got to watch Hellbound like right after. But
Right.
I was still like I was already a established horror fan, but I saw it later in life. Yeah. How about you? When was the
Right.
first time you saw it?
Dude, I'll be honest with you guys. So I was already an established horror fan as well, but I didn't. My first like interaction with like Hellraiser was not even the movie. It was the poster for the original film. I had a friend of mine who had the VHS tape, and that always stuck out to me. The front of this always stuck out to me, and I didn't watch the movie until later on. I don't know why. It was just something I wasn't interested in at the time, I guess. But I watched it probably at, I don't know, 14 or 15, definitely later on. But when I first seen that poster, for some reason, I just wasn't intrigued. Like I thought it looked cool, but I was like, I don't know, that's not really my style. At that time, I was big on the slashers like Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy. So for me, I was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to like Hellraiser. And I heard the stories of like, Pinhead isn't really in it a ton, even though he's on the poster. So I guess that kind of turned me away from it because just looking at that poster, I was like, man, I want to see like, Pinhead like kill people and do what he does. At that time, I didn't really realize what he did, but I was like, I want to see what's on the poster. So yeah, it was definitely a later on thing for me when I was a teen for sure. But it's kind of cool that like as a kid, you could look at a poster or like a DVD cover, VHS cover, and that alone can intrigue you to check it out. You know what I'm saying? That I miss the old school video store days, man. Where you could just
Oh
go,
man, those were the best. Going to rent a movie on Friday night with
yeah,
your family, those were the best days. And the
right,
VHS covers are so underrated. I think they're better than
yes,
DVD covers.
yeah,
I just love physical media like that. And it's just a shame. We had Family Video. They hung on for so long. They only closed like
yeah.
5 years ago, and now there's nowhere to go.